Oh, hello there. I'm Bilchan.
I'm Nimakong.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you Chapter 9, Section 5 of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
As.
Ah.
The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Author Conan Doyle. Chapter 9, Section 5. You shall know all about the machine. He took a step backward. Slammed the little door and turned the key in the lock. I rushed towards it and pulled at the handle, but it was quite secure and did not give in the least to my kicks and shoves. Hello, I yelled. Hello, Colonel. My mouth. It was the clank of the levers and the swish of the leaking cylinder. He had set the engine at work. Cough. By its I saw that the black ceiling was coming down upon me. Slowly. Jerkily. But as I knew better than myself, with a force which must within a minute grind me to a shapeless pulp, I threw myself, screamed, against the door and dragged with my nails at the lock. I implored the Colonel to let me out, but the remorseless clanking of the levers drowned my cries. The ceiling was only a foot or two above my head, and with my hand upraised I could feel its hard, rough surface, much upon the position in which I met it. If I lay on my face, the weight would come up on my spine, and I shuddered to think of that dreadful snap. Easier the other way, perhaps, and yet, down upon me? Already I was unable to stand erect, when my eye caught something which brought a gush of hope back to my heart. I have said that the floor and ceiling were of iron. The walls were of wood. As I gave a last hurried glance around, I saw a thin line of yellow light between two of the boards, which broadened and broadened as the small panel was pushed backward, away from death. The next instant I threw myself through, and lay half fainting upon the other side. The panel had closed again behind me, but the crash of the lamp, and a few moments afterwards the clang of the two slabs of metal, told me how narrow had been my escape. I was recalled to myself by a frantic plucking at my wrist, and I found myself lying upon the stone floor of a narrow corridor, while a woman bent over me and took at me with her left hand, while she held a candle in her right. It was the same good friend whose warning I had so foolishly rejected. Calm. Calm, she cried breathlessly. They will be here in a moment. They will see that you are not there. Oh, do not waste the so precious time. This time, at least, I did not scorn her advice. Winding stair. The latter led to another broad passage. Footing of two voices. Beneath. My guide stopped and looked about her like one who is at her wit's end. Then she threw open a door which led into a bedroom, through the window of which the moon was shining brightly. "It is your only chance," said she. "It is high." As she spoke, a light sprang into view at the further end of the passage, in one hand and a weapon like a butcher's cleaver in the other. I rushed across the bedroom, flung open the window, and looked out. How quiet sweet and wholesome the garden looked in the moonlight, and it could not be more than 30 feet down. I clambered out upon the sill, and the ruffian who pursued me, if she were used, then at any risks I was determined to go back to her assistance. The thought had hardly flashed through my mind before he was at the door, pushing his way past her. But she threw her arms round him and tried to hold him back. Fritz, Fritz, she cried in English. Remember your promise after the last time. You said it should not be again. He will be silent. Oh, you are mad. Elise, he shouted, struggling to break away from her. You will be the ruin of us. He has seen too much. Let me pass. I say. He dashed her to one side, and then, rushing to the window, caught at me with his heavy weapon. I had let myself go, and was hanging by the hands to the sill, when his blow fell. I was conscious of a dull pain. My grip loosened, and I fell into the garden below. I was shaken but not hurt by the fall. Could run, for I understood that I was far from being out of danger yet. Suddenly, however, as I ran, a deadly disease and sickness came over me. I glanced down at my hand, which was throbbing painfully, and then, for the first time, my wound. I endeavoured to tie my handkerchief round it, but there came a sudden buzzing in my ears, and next moment I fell in a dead faint among the rose bushes. How long I remained unconscious I cannot tell. It must have been a very long time, for the moon had sunk, and a bright morning was breaking when I came to myself. My clothes were all sodden with dew, and my coat sleeve was drenched with blood from my wounded thumb. The smarting of it recalled in an instant all the particulars of my night's adventure, safe from my pursuers. But to my astonishment, when I came to look round me, neither house nor garden were to be seen. I had been lying in an angle of the head close by the high road, and just a little lower down was a long building, which proved, upon my approaching it, to be the very station at which I had arrived upon the previous night, were it not for the ugly wound upon my hand. All that had passed during those dreadful hours might have been an evil dream. Half dazed, I went into the station and asked about the morning train. There would be one to Reading in less than an hour. The same porter was on duty. I found, as had been there when I arrived. I inquired of him whether he had ever heard of Colonel Lysander Stirk. The name was strange to him. Had he observed a carriage the night before waiting for me? Well, he had not. Was there a police station anywhere near? There was one about 3 miles off. It was too far for me to go, weak and ill as I was. The police. It was a little past 6 when I arrived, so I went first to have my wound dressed. To be continued.